Shalom, this is Rabbi Graber, and you are listening to Bethelians, our podcast about those wonderful people at Bethel. And we are sharing stories to help our community get to know each other better. And today we have with us Perry Whitted, a name that some of you listening you might not know the name, you might not even know the face.
Right.
But if you've ridden a bicycle to Bethel before or been here for one of our public candle lightings for Hanukkah, then you know the work of Perry's hands, because Perry helped to create the giant shin that we have for the bike rack in the parking lot. And also they're pretty giant menorahs that we light on Hanukkah. Perry is a talent, and his most recent creation now hangs as the Ner Tamid, as the eternal light in our main sanctuary. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that was dedicated for my bar mitzvah year, the 13th year of me being the rabbi at Bethel. So Perry, we're grateful for your gifts. You are not just a hired hand. You're part of Bethel, and I think I just want to begin this by saying you're not somebody who is Jewish or who has converted to Judaism. And you've given wonderful gifts to our community, and would love to hear what's your Bethel story. How would you tell your Bethel story?
It's really, a beautiful community. I'll start there. And community is really, really important to me. And, I've explored several religions throughout my life. As a child, it was like Protestant. And then later it was exploring Eastern Orthodox Christianity. And then, at the time I met Karen, and who introduced me to all of you. And it's just a beautiful group of people. The community, the traditions, it speaks to me, is all I can say. And I love the community. I love supporting this community because it's, these are great people.
Tell me a little bit more. That is amazing to hear. And I'm grateful for your words. And I think it's really important, something that I think people do a good job of, and that I try to emphasize as a rabbi, is the importance of Haknasat Orchim, of welcoming guests, of welcoming strangers, of welcoming each other to our community. And I also want to acknowledge the prayers, as you have noticed, are in Hebrew. And I don't imagine that you have a lot of Hebrew. There are a lot of people in our congregation who were born Jewish and raised in the Jewish community.
There's areas where you can read what's going on.
That's right. So just tell me, how do you find your way in, not only through the Hebrew, but as somebody who's not gone through the process of conversion, right? Tell me about that a little bit.
The piece I didn't say is my grandfather actually studied the Old Testament a lot. And so that was a foundation that I didn't explain earlier.
Okay.
So that spoke to me. And he was always pretty passionate about this religion. And I don't have a great answer for you.
Okay.
It feels right. The people are great. I love not only the traditions, but the values, and it goes pretty deep. And, I can't really articulate, the depth of what I observe and what I see, but it is special.
Huh. Do you have a favorite holiday? Do you have a favorite practice? You said the traditions,
I think,
or a favorite moment you sort of look back on?
So there's several, but the weekly candle lighting for Shabbat is pretty special. It's a time to sort of reset for me. The high holidays are great.
Yeah.
What
do you love about the high holidays?
They're rich. The Passover, where you join in smaller groups, and explore it in different ways. Like you might go to one person's house and it's sort of, they're all going through the same sort of ceremony, but it's a different flavor in each of the places where you might gather to celebrate. And then, the high holidays are great. The, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And I take those very seriously. Yeah, I like the idea of celebrating the new year, but I think the reflecting for Yom Kippur is like probably the most for me.
This year, I was at a conference in New York and heard Krista Tappa speak. And she said to a group of rabbis, you know, it's extraordinary that you have an entire day set aside on your calendar for reflection
Hmm.
and repentance.
Hmm.
And it was just a great thing to hear from the outside. I think sometimes we take for granted
Hmm.
the richness of certain
It is
traditions.
rich. Yeah.
So, and if I can use, when you were talking before about the differences in Passover Seders,
Hmm.
one of the key notions within the Jewish tradition is that God's greatness is actually seen in multiplicity, in difference, right?
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
want everything to be the
Right.
same.
Right.
That the greatness of the Torah and of God's word is that it can sparkle with all these different meanings.
Yeah.
So I named 3 different artistic pieces that you have added to Bethel. First of all, I know it's like picking one of your children, but do you have a favorite?
I think the Eternal Light is the favorite because it took so long to get there. And it's more than just the idea of, your bat mitzvah. It started back during the renovation. And, you give someone a sort of an impossible task, a situation where images are just not part of the equation. And it's like, wait, artwork is images. It's like, how do you do this?
We have a love-hate relationship with iconography, right? That's right, right. And the rabbis called this Hidor Mitzvah,
Mhm.
right? Which was that there is this sense that you can beautify
Mhm.
and that it's a wonderful mitzvah to beautify the things that we use for ritual purposes, but we're not going to cross a certain line
Yeah.
with making images.
Yeah.
And so I can see how that's
That was probably because it was so difficult. And I have to tell you, Hunter and Michelle were just great.
shout out to Hunter Levinson and Michelle Pass.
Absolutely. They helped sort of center me, and we came up with something really special.
That's great.
And that was, quite an honor for me.
And the words that are carved into it, not carved, but
Yeah. Relief.
relief. Thank you. That was the fancy blacksmith word I didn't know how to use. Or Zarua La Tzaddik, which means light is sown for the righteous.
That's so.
And when we come back to the high holidays, that's of course the melody, the words to the melody that we chant as we take the Torahs out on the high holidays. We are doing this episode. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get it out just in time for the holiday of Hanukkah. And I would love to hear you tell the story of, because I think that was the first project, was the making of the big menorahs for the public candle lighting. Am I wrong about that? You're looking at me?
There were several.
There were several.
So
Okay.
it was a community effort to restore the gates, the arc gates.
Right.
And
thank you.
a
You
lot
were
of
also
a
involved in
lot of
that.
members did that. And it was, it was a very satisfying. It turned out well. Then there was the high holiday arc. And what I loved about sort of all the projects, except for the near to me, is that we engaged so many youth in the process. It was during COVID. we were sort of locked down. The kids were going crazy, but it was so beautiful to have them in the studio or in the ark hanging the copper, and just joining and all that. There were several of the teens that helped pull the angles on the menorah as we made them. And some of the girls, I'll just say that, welded up the pieces. It was really satisfying.
Amazing. And you reminded me, yes, when we did the renovation, you reminded me we took the gates out and you helped us to renew those. And I had forgotten about the copper in the High Holiday Ark. And then, right. So my own children, by the way, as a father of a teenager during the time of COVID, it was one of my kids who was going crazy. To have him just get out of the house and interact with somebody besides me and interact not on Zoom. I remember the kids all had masks, but they went over to your studio.
I should share them. I have photos of him actually bending the metal.
He still loves to work with his hands to this day. And I just want to add, that one of the special things about our community and about the building is whenever possible, we want to have people involved in the making of what we do. And so there's a lot of artwork. Hunter Levinson has several pieces, and there are other artists in our community who have pieces up around the synagogue. Steve Herman's woodwork is all over the community.
And he actually contributed to the Hanukkah as well. He did the beautiful bases that were left over from when the renovation happened. The pews were taken. They're part of it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any other pieces on the horizon?
We did the little bitty ark that is in a conference room
in the Beit Midrash.
Yeah. And what else? And I particularly love that. Who's going to steal a bike from the shin?
From the shin. There's, it's a different kind of security, right? Yeah. By having your bike locked to a Hebrew letter.
Exactly.
Right? It's Jewish guilt in addition to whatever locking system that you might use. Well, let me just ask you one last question for the season. Favorite Hanukkah memory?
Oh.
You've got some Hanukkahs under your belt.
So many jelly donuts. The people. And then, sharing it with Chohu. She's really important. And
that's Karen's child who grew up here at Bethel.
Yeah.
A lot of love.
Yeah. Still great relationship with her.
That's great.
Favorite Hanukkah or Hanukkah event? It's all of them have been rich.
Well, I was going to ask you latke or donut.
Latke.
Oh, you go with the latke. Interesting, because he said jelly donuts immediately. I should also say, you're reminding me, Perry has been part of our Men of Oil latke making crew. And what's the other question? Sour cream or applesauce, since you're a latke guy?
I have to lean towards sour cream, but I slip over the border too.
Okay. All right. You see, you're equal opportunity, right?
Yeah. I also did a dinner here once.
Did you help to make a dinner?
I did.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's all. So, Perry, I want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. You've demonstrated for us a number of important things. Number one, all of the different ways to participate, to, as you just said, work in the kitchen and help to create a dinner, to help make Men of Oil latkes, to take your hands. The Psalms speak of Maaseh Yadenu, Konanenu, that the work of our hands, right? And your hands have given wonderful gifts through your art and through your connection with the people, and also just reminded us that Rabbi Sager of blessed memory had a wonderful term. Sometimes we are a community, we are a Jewish community, and we have fellow travelers, and there's a lot of richness.
It feels great.
Well, I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
And we wish everybody a Hanukkah Sameach. And thank you for listening to Bethelians. We hope you will listen again. Our regular services here at Bethel are Shabbat mornings at 9:30 with childcare for the little ones beginning at 10 a.m. If you would like to be featured on the podcast, you can reach out to Madeline at programs@betheldurham.org. And until the next episode, we say Lehit Ra'ot.